I'm Catherine McMahon from Estuary Care Foundation. Well, we're kind of exploring nature-based responses sort of to climate change, and part of that involves looking at restoration opportunities and then seeking to kind of engage people in enjoying the Port River and Barker Inlet estuary, to have them engaged with that and then, you know, involved in various ways in the care of the river. Well, we've engaged with a lot of volunteers to do some small trial projects. So we've had people looking after oysters in baskets, to see if our native oysters can live again successfully here, and we've found that they can. And then we've had those volunteers actually creating a small reef. We've had volunteers out building our shoreline protection sort of trial. We've got people who monitor the seagrass and how it's, you know, kind of coming back. And then people who help in all sorts of ways with our community education initiatives. And then part of what we're really wanting is, you know, for people to kind of be out on the river and in the Barker Inlet, as they do with kayaking, and you know, to kind of enjoy what those environments have to offer, and to tell everyone, really, this is a really special kind of place that we live. Yeah. So Living Seawalls is an initiative by the Sydney Institute of Marine Science and a young industrial designer from Reef Design Lab. And so they've combined their expertise, and the marine scientists kind of look at what are the processes in nature that give rise to habitat, because typically kind of wharf walls and don't support a wide variety of life, and so they've kind of created sort of like rock pools and honeycombs and swim-throughs, because that's what we see in nature. And then Alex, as the designer, has used 3D printed technology in order to create these tiles, which weigh about, you know, kind of 25 kilos. And ideally what you'd like to see is that in future, when we create sort of seawalls, we're actually building those designs into the external surface, because then we can have the benefit of the protection of the seawall, but it can come with habitat as well. And the first trials were done in Sydney Harbour, so there's some just near the Sydney Harbour Bridge, for example, but there are other trials in Townsville and in Singapore, and ours is the fourth of those. And so we're really looking forward to, over the next few months, seeing kind of who and what comes to live on those tiles. And it's a great chance, either when they're below the water or above the water, to see what that environment's creating. And in a way, it's not just kind of for locals, it's actually broader than that. So in the Hudson River in New York, there's a major cleanup effort. In London, in the Thames, there's been a major cleanup. So this is kind of like a worldwide movement that we're part of, to kind of say these environments, which, you know, in our instance goes on being an industrial environment, it actually has other features. It's a living system, and those things can coexist. If we look at a long-term future for the environment around the river, down into West Lakes, around the Barker Inlet, we can actually look at creating, yeah, the kind of environment that we want. Otherwise, things will happen to us. And yeah, we've got an opportunity to be better prepared. It's not just me, it's the river, it's the capacity of the river to heal, and it's the willingness of local people, and people who come, actually some of our volunteers come from quite a distance away, to kind of join in that process. So I think there's a lot of people who care all around the world about the kind of world we're going to live in. So I originally came from New South Wales. So I was a country girl, went to university, and I think I found my place here because I didn't realise, in a sense, that particularly around semaphore, I was actually kind of going back to my country roots in terms of the nature of community and, you know, the width of the streets. And I was made really welcome when I came down here in 1989 by people who'd lived here for generations. And I kind of feel that that's our role too now, to really make people welcome kind of into this place. And so, yeah, after I retired, I've been keen for a number of years to work in the environment space. And yeah, as we looked at our climate adaptation planning with the council, then I thought, yeah, there's something that useful that we can do in doing these small scale trials, which hopefully will lead to a larger vision and larger projects being implemented. Well, people who've been really important to us include Adelaide Mount Lofty and RM, who've been the source of a number of grants that we've got. Renewal SA has given us permits for some of our work, as has Flinders Ports. We've had an engagement with our shellfish project, with the Subcorp, with the Yacht Squadron, with the CYC. Our volunteers, some of them come from the Marine Life Society, some come from the Shell Collectors sort of club, some kind of local people, and or people who come from further afield. And in a way, they want to contribute to positive things. Well, I think coming to the Port Environment Centre is a great place to start, because in a sense then you can have a look at what are all the different groups that are available. So ours is one of many in this space who are doing, who are doing work on behalf of the environment. So it might be kind of dune care, or it might be community education with us. It's really kind of finding what is it that interests you, that you kind of want to spend your time on. And yeah, and if that group doesn't exist, then form it. Yeah, people surprise you in all sorts of wonderful ways, with what it is that they're willing kind of to do for a shared vision. And that's such a lovely thing to be part of. I'm like lots of people, and I want a really positive kind of future. And I think a lot of those solutions exist. And so when I saw the risk that we face in relation to the flooding, and then I was introduced to the possibility of living shorelines, it was, it sort of felt like you can move past kind of helplessness and concern into, yeah, there's something useful I can do in this space. And yeah, if why not me? Why not me?